She was young, bold, and fearless. A rising travel blogger documenting her solo kayaking trip through the swamps of the Florida Everglades. But one evening, Kira Westfall paddled into the waterlogged maze and disappeared. No body, no blood, no answers. For a year, her name faded into internet whispers until a crab fisherman pulled up a trap tangled in weeds. Inside, he found something that would bring her case roaring back to life and expose a human trafficking ring no one saw coming. Welcome to Echo Stories. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. Part 1. The Disappearance of Kira Westfall. Kira Westfall, age 27, was a fast-growing social media presence in the travel and adventure space. She wasn't just pretty and photogenic. She was smart, brave, and passionate about traveling alone as a woman, showing others how to stay safe. Her YouTube and Instagram were packed with hiking tips, kayaking hacks, and drone footage from the most remote places on Earth. Her latest journey, a week-long solo kayak trip through the Everglades, America's largest subtropical wilderness. Her final post showed her launching into the mangroves with a GoPro strapped to her chest. Caption: off-grid for a bit. Don't worry, I've got GPS flares and bug spray. See you on the other side. That was the last time anyone saw her. Days passed, then a week. Her father, Grant, tried calling. No answer. Her followers started posting, "Where's Kira?" comments. Eventually, her campsite reservation expired. Authorities launched a search: airboats, helicopters, even dogs. Nothing. No kayak, no signal, no gear. Her father refused to believe she was dead. "She's done harder terrain," he said. "She's smart, careful, and if something went wrong, someone knows something." The police called it a tragedy. Maybe gators, maybe exhaustion. Maybe she got lost in the maze of water and mangroves and simply vanished. But 1 year later, a crab fisherman snagged a plastic trap just offshore. It wasn't empty, and what it held would shatter that theory into a million pieces. Part 2. The phone in the trap. It was a humid July morning. Veteran crabber Luis Ramirez was doing his usual pull on a narrow canal just off the Gulf. He'd fished there for 20 years, but this was a first. His trap felt heavy, but when he lifted it onto the deck, it wasn't crabs inside. It was a waterproof pouch. Inside the pouch, a mud-covered smartphone. He nearly tossed it back until he noticed a sticker on the case, a faded compass icon, and the initials KW. Luis turned it in. The phone ended up on the desk of a Florida Marine Patrol officer. When they dried it out and charged it, it turned on. Locked, yes, but the home screen background was unmistakable. Kira Westfall smiling in the Everglades. Suddenly, her case was open again. The forensic team pulled GPS data and cache records from the device. The last ping placed her miles off her planned route in a place locals called the Maze, a tangled mess of water channels rarely visited except by poachers and smugglers. More chilling than the coordinates was the video footage. One file marked dead just hours after her last social media post showed Kira paddling through still silent water. She turns the camera to herself. "I don't know why, but I followed a guy's advice at the dock. He said there's a shortcut through this side channel. Feels wrong, there's no noise, not even birds." She turns the camera forward, pauses. "Is that a boat up there?" The footage ends. Investigators traced the video's location and brought in sonar teams. No body, no kayak, but something else. A broken zip tie tied to a branch, a pair of snapped oars, and a blood-stained life vest Kira's size. Grant got the call. "She might still be alive," the detective said. "But if so, she didn't leave those items behind willingly." Part 3. Captain Corbin. With Kira's phone recovered and the GPS data pointing to the maze, her father, Grant Westfall, flew straight to Florida. He wasn't interested in waiting anymore. He began asking questions around the marina where Kira had launched. One name kept coming up. Wade Corbin, a local boat captain known for off-the-map tours and side jobs for cash. The kind of guy who always knew shortcuts through the swamp. Grant tracked him down easily. Corbin was tan-built, charming, exactly the type to earn a solo traveler's trust. "Yeah, I remember her," Corbin said. "Smart girl, strong paddler. Said she didn't need help. I just pointed her toward a scenic route." Grant stared him down. "Did you tell her about the maze?" Corbin smiled thinly. "Only a suggestion." Grant didn't buy it. He snooped around the docks, talked to a young dockhand named Reggie who looked nervous when Corbin's name came up. "He was on the water that day," Reggie muttered. "Whole lot longer than he should have been. Filled up on gas twice." That didn't make sense. A short route shouldn't burn that much fuel. Then Grant looked at Corbin's boat, the Eleanor, and spotted something odd. Scratches around the edge of a storage panel. He waited until Corbin left, then convinced Reggie to show him below deck. Inside the panel, a hidden compartment. Inside that, a bottle of women's antibiotics and a sealed plastic bag containing female hygiene products. Unopened. Things Kira might have packed, or things someone else was forced to use. Grant took photos. He sent them to a family contact, Blake, his brother-in-law, also a DEA agent. Blake called back within an hour. That's not just a fisherman, Grant. Wade Corbin is on our radar. We think he's part of a smuggling operation, possibly human trafficking. Then he added something that made Grant go cold. Whatever happened to Kira, I don't think she was his first. Part 4, Voices in the Dark. That night, Grant checked into a small motel off Route 41. He couldn't sleep. He kept replaying the video from Kira's phone, her voice, the fear. At 2:03 a.m., his own phone buzzed. Unknown number. 1 bar of signal. He answered. A shaky whisper came through, Dad. It was her. Kira, her voice cracked with emotion. I'm so sorry. I tried to get away. Grant sat up. Where are you, baby? I don't know. It's dark. They moved me. There's water. I can hear boats at night. I think I'm near the coast. Who has you? Before she could answer, a loud clang muffled shouting. Someone's coming. I have to go. I love you. Then silence. Grant stared at the screen, frozen. She was alive. The call lasted 37 seconds. Blake traced the signal, a burner phone bouncing off a tower near 10,000 Islands, a remote chain of mangrove islets used by fishermen and smugglers. Grant raced to meet Blake and his DEA team at a staging point. Blake confirmed what Grant feared: Wade Corbin was tied to at least 3 disappearances. All women, all never found. And now, thanks to Grant's photos and the call from Kira, the DEA finally had grounds for a warrant. But before the team could launch, Grant received a message. A photo of Kira bruised and bound. Text below, come alone. No cops. 6 a.m. north of Plover Channel, 1 chance. It was a trap, but Grant had no choice. He looked at Blake. I'm going, with or without you. Blake nodded grimly. We'll follow your lead. But if they try to sink you, we strike. Part 5, the trap springs shut. 6:00 a.m. The sun hadn't yet broken through the mist hanging over the mangroves. Grant arrived alone, just as instructed, aboard a borrowed skiff, hands trembling, but eyes locked on the narrow mouth of Plover Channel. Then, a motor. Corbin's boat. It glided out of the fog like a shark, silent, confident. On the deck stood Wade Corbin, flanked by 2 men in tactical gear. One of them was Officer Hutchins, the crooked Marine Patrol cop. The third, a bearded man in a sheriff's vest, Navarro. Another inside man. Kira was there, hunched on the deck, hands zip-tied, eyes sunken from exhaustion. A cinder block chained to her ankles. Corbin smiled. You were too clever for your own good old man. Grant stood calmly. I'm just here for my daughter. Corbin's voice turned cold. You've ruined a very profitable operation. We can't have her talking. And we sure as hell can't have you walking away. He raised his pistol. Grant stepped forward. I don't care what happens to me, he said. But if you let her drown, I will haunt you to your grave. A pause. Corbin chuckled and nodded at Navarro to push Kira overboard. Just then, blinding spotlights erupted from the mangroves. DEA boats. Choppers overhead. Drop your weapons, hands up. Shots rang out. Chaos erupted. Grant dove overboard. As Kira hit the water, dragged down by the weight on her ankle. He reached her. Pulled. The chain was tight. She was slipping away. He yanked with everything he had, and just as his lungs were about to burst, a knife slashed down from above. Blake. He cut the chain. They surfaced together, alive. Wade Corbin, Officer Hutchins, and Sheriff Navarro were arrested and charged with human trafficking, kidnapping, attempted murder, racketeering, and obstruction of justice. 12 more women were rescued from compounds across the Gulf. Kira survived, but it took months of physical and psychological therapy to recover. She returned to social media not with a vlog, but with a statement. I disappeared, but I didn't die, and I will never stop fighting for the ones who weren't as lucky. And her father, he now carries the crab trap that saved her, cleaned, polished, and hung on his wall. A reminder that even in the darkest places, hope floats. If this story moved you, share it. There are still people out there missing, unheard, unseen, who need us to keep looking. Subscribe to Echo Stories for real-life mysteries and the moments of truth that crack them open. Because sometimes all it takes is one trap to unlock everything.